lucky for Banner I showed up, because he'd be a smoldering pile of ashes by now.
Wait!
It's starting to feel like the MCU has been holding back when it comes to the Hulk, because for years now, fans have been waiting to see that raw, uncontrollable version again. And now, with Spider-Man Brand New Day bringing Bruce Banner back into the spotlight, there's a real chance that things are finally about to change. Not just a small upgrade or another version like Smart Hulk, but something way bigger, something closer to what fans would call a true Gamma King Hulk, the kind of form that comes out when Hulk completely loses control. If you look back at how Hulk has been handled in recent MCU projects, it's clear why people feel this way. Ever since Avengers Infinity War, where Hulk lost badly to Thanos, the character has never really been the same. That moment didn't just hurt him physically, but it also changed how he was used going forward. Instead of coming back stronger or getting redemption, the story shifted toward merging him with Banner, which led to Smart Hulk in Avengers Endgame. That version of Hulk had its moments, although it came at a cost, because the Savage Hulk, the one driven by pure rage and instinct, basically disappeared. For nearly 8 years in the MCU timeline, that side of the character hasn't had a real presence, and even though Bruce Banner has shown up multiple times, it's always been the calm, controlled version, not the unstoppable force that people associate with Hulk at his peak. That's why Brand New Day feels so important, because if Marvel is going to bring Hulk back in a meaningful way, this is the perfect chance to do it, and not just bring him back as he was, but push him further. The idea of a Gamma King Hulk comes from that concept that happens when Hulk isn't holding back at all, and when Banner no longer has control over him. One way the movie could build toward that is by finally letting Hulk reclaim his identity as the strongest one there is. In the earlier MCU films, that title felt earned because Hulk was shown overpowering almost anyone he faced. But over time, that perception faded. Characters like Captain Marvel started to be portrayed as stronger, and Hulk's loss to Thanos didn't help either. So if Brand New Day wants to re-establish Hulk's dominance, it needs to show him at a completely different level. Even though the movie is centered around Spider-Man, it could still introduce threats or situations that allow Hulk to show his power again. Maybe he takes down multiple enhanced enemies at once, or maybe there's a hidden villain strong enough to push him to his limits. Either way, the goal would be to remind everyone why Hulk used to sit at the top of the MCU's power scale. At the same time, the story could set up something bigger for the future. In the comics, Hulk has strong ties to the Defenders, a team that includes characters like Doctor Strange and Namor. So if Brand New Day hints at Hulk reconnecting with that side of the Marvel Universe, it could open the door for him to play a major role in something like Avengers Secret Wars later on. But before any of that happens, the movie might need to deal with the relationship between Banner and Hulk. Right now, it feels unbalanced. Banner has been in control for years, living his life without interference, while Hulk has essentially been pushed aside. And if there's one thing that defines Hulk, it's that he doesn't stay suppressed forever. So one possible direction is splitting them apart. This idea comes from comic storylines where Banner and Hulk are separated into two different entities. If something like that happens in Brand New Day, it could lead to a situation where Hulk is finally free, but without Banner's influence to guide him. That's where things start getting dangerous, because without that balance, Hulk could spiral into something much more extreme. Now, this is where the idea of Gamma King Hulk really starts to take shape, because once Hulk is fully unleashed, and once all those years of suppression catch up to him, his power wouldn't just return, it would evolve. All that bottled-up rage, frustration, and resentment could push him into a new form, one that's stronger and more unstable than anything we've seen before. And the emotional side of that transformation is just as important as the physical one. From Hulk's perspective, he's been ignored, controlled, and essentially erased for years. So when he finally comes back, it wouldn't just be about smashing things, but about reclaiming control. That could lead to a rampage, not just against enemies, but potentially against allies too. That kind of arc could even connect to bigger storylines like a Planet Hulk-style conflict, where Hulk becomes a threat to the world instead of its protector. And if Marvel is planning something massive like Doomsday or Secret Wars, having Hulk in that state would instantly raise the stakes. At the same time, Brand New Day might introduce another major element that pushes Hulk over the edge, the Man-Spider transformation. The trailer already hints that Spider-Man is going through some kind of mutation, possibly inspired by the Six-Arms saga from Spider-Man the Animated Series. In that storyline, Peter loses control of his powers and turns into a more monstrous version of himself. If the MCU follows a similar path, Peter could become something like Man-Spider, a version of himself that's driven more by instinct than reason. That creates a really interesting parallel with Hulk, because both characters would be struggling with losing control of who they are. Now imagine Bruce Banner trying to help Peter through that transformation because he understands what it's like to lose control of your body. But something goes wrong. Maybe Peter becomes too dangerous, or maybe the situation turns life-threatening. That could be the trigger that brings Hulk back. And not just any Hulk, but the Savage Hulk, the one who reacts instantly to danger. From there, things could escalate quickly. If Peter is in his Man-Spider form and Hulk is fully unleashed, you get a scenario where both characters are operating on instinct, not logic. That sets up something the MCU has never really done before, a full-on clash between Man-Spider and Hulk. Not a controlled fight, but a chaotic, destructive battle where neither side is thinking clearly. And if Hulk is already on the path toward becoming Gamma King Hulk, that fight could push him even further. Every time Hulk gets angrier, he gets stronger. And if he's dealing with a situation where he feels threatened, confused, and possibly betrayed, that anger would just keep building. That's how you transition from Savage Hulk to something bigger, a version that's not just reacting, but overwhelming everything around him. In a way, this kind of story would bring Hulk back to what made him special in the first place. It's not just about strength, but about unpredictability. You never know how far he's going to go or what he's capable of when pushed to his limits. And if the MCU really commits to that idea, Brand New Day could be the turning point. It could take Hulk from being a background character to being one of the most important forces in the entire universe again. Because once you introduce a Gamma King Hulk, you're not just bringing back an old version, you're creating something new that can shape future stories. From royal, high-level DCU and MCU breakdowns to the quieter rumors that don't always make headlines but often turn out to be true, we cover it all. Keep your eyes right here, because if you truly love cinema, this is the channel you need to be watching.